like I say, if there's anyone alive that says that they are a, well, World War II or basically anything any close to World War II, um, you're lying. They're long since dead. Like I said, the last people died from World War II, probably somewhere around 1940 or something like that, or 1950. There's no one like World War II happened actually around somewhere between 1880 and 1920, about somewhere around in there. Long since before, I mean, way before JFK or Nixon were ever alive. Like I say, there's no one, and it was like a 50 or 30 year, well, 15-year war about, realistically, where I got overrun in Germany, and basically, like I said, I fell back to America, like uh like a lot of people would say, oh yeah, my family or they were rebuilding. It's like no, that happened like 3 or 4 generations ago. Like the White House was already rebuilt, everything was already fixed, like long before, um, like Nixon wasn't even alive when all this stuff was happening. I mean this happened like, I mean all those people in the films, like that's the funny thing about films, like I say, you don't really get a sense of what year it was. And we tried to put year dates on all the films, but of course Nixon wanted to switch all that around. Like I said, he was attacking China, but pretending like he was vanquishing the evil Germany. That's what he did. You know, he filmed all this stuff in Germany where blah 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 blah, and then he was releasing films in the United States or America, basically showing how they were fighting over there in the trenches in Germany, and basically it's just a bunch of war film, a bunch of reenactments that him and his friends had shot in the rubble that was left over from the real war in Germany. When he was a young kid, he fought this stuff, and then basically he started a war with China, and started attacking China pretty much when they were rebuilding Germany. And he was pretending like he was vanquishing the evil Adolf Hitler, and he was actually attacking China the whole time, and basically was pretty much trying to overthrow another government and trying to do a worse thing than the blacks had done. He was trying to like you know basically he was the United States, like I said, thought that he was attacking Germany, but he was actually attacking China. So that's what they were really doing, is they're attacking China to try and overthrow them. And Germany had already been retaken long before JFK, or Nixon or anyone. So that war was already way over, and they were rebuilding over there. And I had my soldiers everywhere, and there's Russians, there's everyone. Everyone was basically in Germany pretty much. And like if you even sneezed in there, you'd probably just get shot from what happened. Like they weren't gonna let they were just done. I mean, it had already been, the whole place had been destroyed. It was war torn. It was like, and that happened when those old guys that are pointing on the map and they're talking about, oh, running the war. It's like no, it's actually like the he was talking about what happened when he was a child. So, and they just reshot everything, and they were actually attacking China the whole time. And but everyone thought in America that they were vanquishing the evil people in Germany. But I had already taken care of that, and we were rebuilding Germany. So anyway, it was just basically a pile of rubble. There was nothing there, and we were trying to rebuild it. But he was using military people to attack China, or they were back then, somewhere around 1920 and 1930 or so, like that. They were constantly attacking China. And they kind of, like I said, they kind of lost, and then, like I say, Vietnam was the end of a 55-year war. So I'd say basically Nixon was pretty much attacking China the whole entire time, ever since he was like 20 years old. They had shot the films, all that stuff, and then they were living in around the rubble of Europe, which was already destroyed and being rebuilt. And then they went to China and started a war with them, and they were going back to the States and telling them that they need more men over there. They're attacking Hitler. We have to raid it over there. And there was like nothing over there. It was already destroyed, gone. But and the ships were actually going to China, and he was actually attacking over there. But nobody really knew that unless you actually. So, and then everybody believed, oh yes, we're winning, and we're winning against Germany, blah blah, or something like that, or we need to help Germany. And then they would get on a ship and they would actually go to China, and they find themselves attacking China for 55 years. So, and China and Russia basically kicked their ass. So, anyway, one war and a space, and then a long war, like another 40-year war, as Nixon basically lied out his ass his entire life from when he was like 20 years old. And then also created a clone called JFK, which was really just him, only smaller. So, anyway, and that's the order of things. So, like I said, Nixon, if you drew his blood and created a child, what you'd get is the person that looked like JFK. Because it's just a clone. We had cloning back since 18-something. So we could clone people. 1850, I guess, about 1890, we could do cloning. Light cloning, anyway. Cloning with some probability of unsuccess. Anyway, so that's what he did pretty much, and then, like I said, then there was the Vietnam Vets, which was basically just Jimmy Carter, or not Jimmy Carter, but Jimmy Carter too, but also John McCain, pretty much just trying to cover up the lie and trying to cover up the lie that they had been attacking China this whole time. You know, because China had the good records and all that stuff, and so he was just killing some Chinese leaders, and trying to get some Vietnam vets. But like I said, they actually pretended like there was some peace in between, but there wasn't. It was just like one long war where we were fighting, and some occupation a little bit, but then fighting back and regaining. Like I said, so I'm actually the hero of Germany and China, and basically this epic hero, and pretty much respected by all the different leaders. JFK didn't respect me, but then again, he was just a lying piece of shit, and Nixon was just a lying piece of shit. And so was John McCain. Like, that came very obvious and apparent, like when he was shot down by a missile. Like I say, John McCain, when he was a kid, like, he was shot down by a missile. He was flying a jet, and when he was like 20 years old. That photo in black and white, whatever, that's actually John McCain when he's about 20 years old, and that is him being interrogated by Chinese people or whatever. And he was flying like a jet when they shot a missile at him, I believe. I believe it was a jet. I think it was a jet or something like that. And he had dropped his bombs or something like that. Either that or it was a very fast aircraft. I think it was a jet, though. He was flying a jet and he dropped his bombs. And something comparable, one of the intruders or something like that. I don't really know exactly what he was flying. He was fairly new at the time. Like I said, the intruder is really old. Really, really old. Like, so he was flying, like, anyway, he was 20 years old. He was flying one of the newer jets. Anyway, though, he got shot down by a missile. And that thing, he's like, I broke my whatever, blah, 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 blah. That's him actually being interrogated by the Chinese or whatever, the Orientals or the people there in China. So, anyway, and after he bombed a city or something like that, they were never in Germany. Anyway, so just switching all the facts around. And then, like I said, the Chinese government had known that he had been shot down, blah, blah. And then, so as an old age, he knew about how the China had interrogated him. So he was just shooting the leaders that knew about that in Vietnam in ordering their death in 1950, when he was older. He paid some guys to shoot the leaders of China, because they had already interrogated him when he was 20, and he wanted to cover that up. So that's basically what happened. It was just a big flip around, and he was really a horrible rapist along with all the others. So it's just a lot of confusion and fake everything, and pretty much because I wasn't around. They were more around, more public, and they were really and they had guns and they were really trying. So yeah, and I'm just like, whatever. Everyone loved me. Everyone loves me. Everyone respected me as the great hero I was and the great general I was. Great warrior, leader of nations. Because I won both engagements. I lost Germany for a second, but then I won again. And Germany was a hard nut to crack. It took them a long time to crack that country.